If you have ever studied English for months or even years but still feel nervous when it is time to speak, this conversation is for you.
I'm Leo, and today Anna and I are talking about English habits that actually work, not complicated habits, not habits that make you feel tired or overwhelmed, simple habits you can use every day to build real confidence. All right, let's begin.
Leo, I think many English learners have the same problem. They study grammar, they watch videos, they save vocabulary lists, but when they need to speak, their mind suddenly goes blank.
That is so common, and I think one reason is that many learners study English like a school subject, but they don't build English into their daily life.
Right, English becomes something they do only when they sit down with a notebook, but real progress usually comes from small habits repeated often.
That makes sense. So today, let's talk about habits that are realistic, because some advice sounds good, but it is too difficult to continue.
I agree. For example, people say, study English for 3 hours every day. That might work for a few people, but most adults are busy. They have work, family, school, responsibilities, and they get tired.
So instead of saying study for 3 hours, maybe we should say touch English every day.
I like that phrase, touch English every day. It means you don't need a perfect study session, you just need daily contact with the language.
Exactly. 10 minutes is better than 0 minutes. 5 minutes is better than waiting for the perfect time and doing nothing.
That is our first habit. Make English part of your day, even in a small way.
For example, you can listen to English while making coffee, walking, cleaning your room, or riding the bus.
And the goal is not to understand every single word. The goal is to become comfortable with the sound, rhythm, and natural flow of English.
That's important. Many learners stop listening because they don't understand everything, but native speakers also don't focus on every word all the time.
Right. Sometimes you understand the general idea first, then little by little you catch more details.
So habit number 1 is daily listening, even for a short time.
Yes, but I want to add something. Passive listening is helpful, but active listening is even better.
Can you explain the difference?
Of course, passive listening means English is playing in the background. Maybe you're cooking or walking. Active listening means you choose a short part, maybe one sentence, and you really focus on it.
So instead of listening to a full 1-hour podcast and forgetting everything, you can listen to one useful sentence and repeat it.
Exactly. And that brings us to the second habit. Repeat useful sentences out loud.
Out loud is the key. Many learners practice only in their head, but speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth, tongue, breath, and rhythm need practice.
That is such a good point. If you only read silently, you may understand English, but speaking can still feel difficult.
It's like learning a song. You can read the lyrics, but if you never sing, your voice will not feel comfortable with the melody.
Nice comparison. So learners can choose one sentence, pause the video, and repeat it 2 or 3 times.
For example, they can repeat, I'm trying to build better English habits.
Good sentence. Let's break it down naturally. I'm trying to build better English habits.
And this sentence is useful because you can change it. I'm trying to build better speaking habits. I'm trying to build better study habits. I'm trying to build more confidence.
That is another powerful habit. Don't memorize only one sentence. Learn sentence patterns.
A sentence pattern is like a structure you can reuse. For example, I'm trying to, then you add your action.
I'm trying to speak more clearly.
I'm trying to listen every day.
I'm trying to stop translating in my head.
That one is very real. Many learners translate every word from their first language into English, and it slows them down.
It does. Translation can help sometimes, especially at the beginning, but if you translate every sentence, speaking becomes stressful.
So what habit helps with that?
Thinking in small English phrases, not full complicated thoughts, just small phrases.
Like what?
Like, I need coffee, I'm tired, where is my phone, I have a meeting, that looks good, I should leave soon.
That feels manageable.
Exactly. If you try to think in perfect English all day, you may feel frustrated. But if you think in short phrases, you train your brain slowly.
So habit number 3 is use small English thoughts during the day.
Yes, when you wake up, say in your mind, I need to get up. When you open the fridge, say, what should I eat? When you check your schedule, say, I have a busy day.
And if you don't know a word, don't stop everything. Use simple English.
That is very important. Many learners wait for the perfect word, but communication does not need perfect words.
For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can say, the thing I use when it rains.
Right. That is called describing around a word. It means you explain the idea using words you already know.
That habit builds confidence because you realize, I can continue even if I forget one word.
And confidence is not about never making mistakes. Confidence is knowing you can handle the conversation.
I like that. Confidence means you can continue.
Exactly. Now, another habit that works is recording yourself.
Some learners hate that.
I know many people feel uncomfortable hearing their own voice, especially in another language.
But it really helps.
It does, and it doesn't need to be long. Record yourself for 30 seconds. Talk about your day, your breakfast, your plan, or what you learned.
Then listen once, not to judge yourself, but to notice one thing.
Right, just one thing. Maybe your pronunciation of one word, maybe your speed, maybe you pause too much, maybe you actually sound better than you expected.
That happens a lot. Learners think they sound terrible, but when they listen carefully, they realize they are understandable.
And being understandable is a great goal.
Could you repeat that, Anna? I think that is a useful idea.
Sure, being understandable is a great goal. You don't need to sound perfect. You need to be clear enough for people to understand you.
That takes pressure away.
It really does. Another habit is learning vocabulary in context.
Not just single words.
Exactly. Single words are easy to forget, but phrases are easier to use.
So instead of only learning the word appointment, learn I have an appointment or I need to make an appointment.
Perfect. Instead of only learning busy, learn I've been really busy lately.
Instead of only learning recommend, learn what would you recommend?
That phrase is useful in restaurants, stores, travel, and many everyday situations.
So the habit is collect phrases, not just words.
Yes, and keep a small phrase list, not a huge notebook with 1,000 words you never review, just 5 to 10 useful phrases each week.
That sounds realistic.
Very realistic. Then use those phrases in your own sentences.
For example, if the phrase is I've been trying to, I can say, I've been trying to speak more English at home.
Great! Or I've been trying to watch short videos without subtitles.
That brings up another habit, subtitles.
Good point. Subtitles can help, but learners should use them carefully.
What do you recommend?
I try 3 steps. First, watch with subtitles to understand. Second, watch the same short part without subtitles. Third, repeat 1 or 2 sentences out loud.
That is much better than watching many videos quickly and not practicing anything.
Exactly. Depth is better than speed. You don't need more content all the time. You need more practice with the content you already have.
That is a big lesson. Many learners collect lessons instead of using them.
Right. They save videos, download PDFs, buy books, and follow many teachers, but they don't repeat, speak, or review.
So another habit is reviewing.
Yes, review is where learning becomes memory.
Could you explain that phrase?
Sure, when you learn something one time, it may feel clear in the moment, but if you don't see it again, your brain may forget it. Review means you return to the same words, phrases, or sentences several times.
So learning is not only adding new things, it is also returning to useful things.
Exactly. A simple review habit is this. At the end of the day, choose 3 English phrases you heard or used.
Only 3?
Only 3. Small habits are easier to continue.
That makes sense. If the habit feels too heavy, people quit.
Right. The best habit is the one you can repeat.
Another habit I like is speaking to yourself.
Me too. Some people feel silly doing it, but it works.
You can describe what you were doing. I'm opening my laptop. I'm checking my email. I'm making lunch. I'm going outside.
And if you want to make it more natural, ask and answer simple questions.
Like, what am I doing today? I'm going to work, then I'm meeting a friend.
Or, how do I feel today? I feel a little tired, but I'm okay.
This helps because real conversations are often built from simple daily ideas.
Exactly. You don't need to start with difficult topics. Start with your real life.
That is also more useful. If you practice sentences about your actual life, you will probably use them again.
Now, let's talk about mistakes.
Important topic.
Many learners stop speaking because they are afraid of mistakes. But mistakes are not proof that you are bad at English. Mistakes are part of the process.
And native speakers can usually understand you even if your grammar is not perfect.
Right. If you say, yesterday I go to store, people understand the meaning. Of course, later you can improve it to, yesterday I went to the store, but the first goal is communication.
So a good habit is to correct yourself gently.
Yes, not with anger, not with shame, just notice and improve.
For example, I go yesterday. Oh, I went yesterday.
Perfect. That shows awareness and it keeps the conversation moving.
Another habit that works is asking for clarification.
Absolutely. Many learners pretend they understand because they feel embarrassed.
But asking for clarification is normal.
Very normal. You can say, sorry, could you repeat that? Or, what does that mean? Or, could you say that more slowly?
Those phrases are powerful because they keep you in the conversation.
And they make you sound polite and confident.
So learners should memorize a few survival phrases.
Yes, survival phrases are phrases that help you when communication becomes difficult.
Like, could you explain that another way?
Or, I'm not sure I understood.
Or, let me make sure I got that.
That one is very natural. Let me make sure I got that means I want to confirm that I understood correctly.
Great phrase.
Now, one more habit. Connect English to something you enjoy.
That is important for motivation.
If English only feels like homework, you may avoid it. But if English connects to music, movies, cooking, sports, travel, or personal goals, it becomes more enjoyable.
So if you like cooking, watch simple cooking videos in English.
If you like sports, listen to short sports interviews.
If you like travel, practice hotel, airport, and restaurant conversations.
And if you like calm learning, listen to conversation podcasts like this one.
The best English habit is not the most impressive habit, it is the habit you can keep doing.
That is a great summary. Small, consistent, useful, and connected to your life.
So let's review the habits quickly.
First, touch English every day, even for 5 or 10 minutes.
Second, repeat useful sentences out loud.
Third, think in small English phrases during your day.
Fourth, record yourself for short speaking practice.
Fifth, learn vocabulary in phrases, not only single words.
Sixth, review a few useful phrases regularly.
Seventh, speak to yourself about your real life.
Eighth, correct mistakes gently and keep going.
Ninth, ask for clarification when you need it.
And 10th, connect English to something you enjoy.
If you do these habits consistently, your English will become more natural over time.
Not overnight, but step by step.
And remember, you don't need to do all 10 habits today. Choose 1 or 2 and start there.
That's right. Small progress is still progress.
Thank you for practicing with us today on English Talk. If this conversation helped you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And in the comments, tell us one English habit you want to try this week.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep building confidence.
We'll see you in the next conversation. Goodbye for now.